co-founder of Crocs could only say the words, "Those are ugly," when he first viewed a prototype of the shoes in 2002. However, those hideous shoes managed to turn into a multi-million-dollar publicly traded firm, which has been seen on the catwalks of Paris Fashion Week and worn by stars. So how did three founders who had no prior experience in the footwear industry manage to create such a hugely successful shoe business? This is the startling undiscovered Crocs story from 2002. Since crocodiles, like these shoes, can survive on both water and land, the company was given the name Crocs. George, though, was a successful individual in his own right. Despite having a difficult upbringing, he launched his own lawn-mowing company at the age of 10, went on to excel in sports in high school and earn a college scholarship, and eventually acquired more than 100 Domino's pizza franchises and worked as an executive for the Quiznos sandwich chain. These three pals, therefore, had a fair amount of business expertise between them. While Scott focused on the product, Lyndon oversaw the creation of this strategy, and George contributed a sizable sum of capital to get things off the ground. While the co-founders of Crocs may not have anticipated the number of employees, places that required employees to stand for long periods of time, including kitchens and restaurants, the Crocs creators had no idea at this time how big of a business this would turn out to be, but they were starting to think they had hit a cultural nerve and discovered a consumer niche that hadn't yet been exploited. Despite some detractors calling quirks a regrettable fad, their popularity is growing steadily. From different businesses who believed that crocodiles were ideal for hospitals as well as boats, many people held the opinion that a shoe like the Crocs was only a short-lived fashion fad doomed to ultimately fail. The Crocs materials were. Retailers could buy as few as 24 pairs of Crocs and then refill whenever they ran out, as opposed to needing to purchase them, sell them, and then mark down the ones they didn't sell. This reduced the risk for merchants and made sure that their shoes ended up being stocked in several stores of all different sizes. Despite the fact that many people disliked Crocs, the fact that they stood out so much meant that they were frequently discussed. The demand for their shoes increased quickly as a result of the attention, and in 2006, when Crocs had its IPO and raised $239 million, it was the largest footwear initial public offering ever. While all of this quick expansion brought the Crocs founders and their early backers millions of dollars, Lyndon remarked on how the founders' relentless efforts to keep the company developing at a fast rate had taken a toll on them all. Later, in 2006, things became somewhat gloomy. Only a few months following the company's IPO, the person who sent the initial invitation, co-founder George Bodeker, arrived on the boat excursion that got it all began. George allegedly threatened to assault his brother-in-law after arriving at his office about 20 minutes later. Now, it's not quite apparent why George pursued his brother-in-law, but there are numerous accounts of the co-founder of Crocs acting very erratically during this period, both at work and outside of it. He was ousted from the Crocs board of directors after a spate of contentious events, which only inflamed him further. George, as you can see, is a nuanced figure in the Crocs origin tale. Without his dedication and early management of the business, the company most likely wouldn't exist. You should mention George Bodeker around the office, as one former employee was afterward quoted as saying, "It is not acceptable at Crocs. He was simply really inebriated," which didn't look well on Crocs. When George resigned as CEO of Crocs, Lyndon's friend, who had previously allowed him to rest on his sofa when he was at his lowest, took over. Lyndon's friend's name appeared in all the headlines about this event. Crocs' new age of success is due to Snyder and Run's leadership as CEO. Crocs transitioned from carrying two versions of its shoe from R250 during his early years. Crocs increased its global reach as revenue and stock values were rising. They also started buying nearby businesses like Given, which produced charms for Crocs so that customers could customize their footwear. Like many other businesses, Crocs had significant setbacks due to the 2008 financial crisis. Crocs projected lower sales in the future, and throughout the next few years, they laid off many people while also continuing to have trouble on the stock market. On top of that, a firm by the name of Select LLC asserted that Crocs had violated a 1999 pattern for a material that was strikingly similar to the cross lights on its footwear in the midst of these financial difficulties in 2008. Manufacturers of Crocs lookalikes said that Scott was aware of the rumors that the Crocs design had been stolen from another source, and that Crocs was simply a lookalike of an Italian shoe that predated Crocs. On the surface, rapid expansion could seem terrific, but for Crocs, it was only the beginning of an unsustainable iceberg. From 2008 until 2018, According to Fast Company, they were basically treading water due to overexpansion and an oversupply of inventory. However, the Crocs stock started to recover all of a sudden. What's fascinating is that Crocs did attempt various designs on numerous occasions that weren't so hideous as to appeal to a larger customer base. There is no one who supports Crocs. Either you adore them or you despise them. Therefore, Crocs started to spread a message of acceptance, uniqueness, and innovation. According to the CMO, Crocs wearers consider themselves to be daring and unique. They made an effort to portray them as casually stylish Crocs wearers who don't give a damn what others think. High-fashion retailers and brands like Barney's and Balenciaga also caught on to the trend, creating lines of custom platform Crocs that graced the runways of Paris and sold out immediately in stores. Crocs became a cultural chameleon, able to adapt to a wide variety of partnerships, from the sleek and high concept to the utterly bizarre. In essence, Crocs' strategy of actively seeking out collaborations was highly purposeful, and they paid particular attention to partnerships they knew would be unexpected and result in a lot of media attention. Crocs receive a ton of free publicity when people learn that they have a partnership with Cheerios cereal or that high-end models are wearing them. Unexpectedly, the pandemic was that most garment companies suffered in a pandemic economy, which was a tremendous success for Crocs. Crocs thrived. They had their finest year ever, in fact, driven by a preference for comfort above fashion in 2020. Of course, staying relevant will always be one of his main challenges as a footwear firm. Additionally, they appear to be earning more money than ever, which is remarkable for a product that even the company's founders believed was ugly. Sure, they've done well, you might say at this point, but the founders already had some business acumen and capital to invest. So why don't you tell me about a company that was founded from nothing, I would say. We appreciate you taking the time to visit with us. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe to our channel to never miss another one.